Hello, and welcome to the Sci-Fi Christian. I am Ben DeBono, and I'm finally back doing more review stuff. I took the last couple months off, just kind of needed a break from doing the book reviews and everything. Just kind of got to the point where I found that every book I was reading, as I was reading it, I just was constantly thinking, how am I going to review this? And I just wanted to read a few books without having to worry about how I was going to review it, so I just kind of took some time off from doing the reviews the last couple months. But I'm back. This is not a book review tonight, but I will be back at the book reviews. Game of Thrones starts this next Sunday at the time I'm recording this. We're going to be doing the Game of Thrones Season 4 reviews. But tonight, I'm talking about something Game of Thrones related, but not the show. I am going to be reviewing for you the third beer release from Ommegang Brewery's Fire and Blood Ale. Their third Game of Thrones beer for you. So previously I've done reviews on their Iron Throne Blonde Ale and their Take the Black Stout, both of which I enjoyed quite a bit. I'm not a huge stout guy, so I probably preferred the Blonde Ale a little bit more. But I'm looking forward to this one. So this is a red ale. I kind of hold this up here so you can get a look at the bottle. There's actually 3 alternate bottles for this, one for each of Dany's 3 dragons in the show. So I think that this is the Viserion bottle, if I'm not mistaken. I do have to say that while I think that's pretty cool, I'm a little bit annoyed with Ommegang because they seem to have not done a very good job of having the supply out there with this beer. I picked this up today, and I went over to my liquor store right away when I saw on their Facebook page that they had it in stock, because they had something up about how limit of 1 per customer, you know, we didn't get very much in. When I went to get my Take the Black Stout at the same place, they said, you know, buy as many as you want, so I picked up like 4 or 5 of them right there. But here, you know, the distribution was so limited on this apparently, and I talked to the guys at the liquor store, and that's all they're getting in is this one bottle, or this one case. The distribution's so limited that it was just 1 per customer. They only had the 1 variation, so I didn't even have a shot at either of the other 2 dragons. I did find a place online that hopefully I ordered a few more, and so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the other 2 bottles, but we'll see. But I'm just kind of annoyed with Ommegang. You know, if you're going to do a limited release like this, and you're going to make a big deal about how you have 3 alternate bottles, at least make enough of it so that the distribution allows for the possibility of fans being able to get all 3 of your alternate versions. Don't play around like this. So I just thought that was kind of ridiculous. But hopefully all's well that ends well. Like I said, hopefully I'll be getting the other 2 in stock. But more to the point of this review, the product inside all 3 of these is identical. So same beer and everything. This comes in a let's see, about a 24 ounce, I guess. I thought it was 22 ounce, but I'm reading on here 1 pint, 9.4 ounces. So that would be what? 20, I guess 25 ounces, if I'm doing my math correctly, which I very well might not be since that's not my forte. So yeah, you get your bang for your buck. I mean, you know, $9 a bottle is what this was, which for a limited release beer really isn't that bad. 6.8% ABV. So hopefully this will be a solid beer, you know, not too mild or anything, which again, you know, if I'm going to pay for a more expensive specialty beer like this, I want it to have a little bit more zip for it. I want to get some bang for my buck. But let's go ahead and open this up. I should mention too that, well, I suppose this is kind of implied since I had a limit of 1 bottle per customer, but I'm going to be trying this for you live on the air. I've not seen this poured. I have not tasted it, so all of my reactions here are going to be first time reactions for you. So just sort of work the cork out here. There we go. My Ben is Right Sci-Fi Christian mug, which you of course can get your own if you go to our site, the sci-fi-christian.com, go to the store tab. All right. I'm not an expert pourer or anything, so if you're wondering about my method here, or you want to critique it, by all means, be my guest. Okay, so yeah, again, I mean, that's only about half the bottle, and this mug is about 16 ounces. All right, so let's take a look at this. You know, first impression, just going off of the color here, is that this looks more like an amber ale to me than it does a red ale. And, you know, I'd have to look at what their grain makeup, and which I doubt they've published that or anything. But yeah, I mean, there's a slight red tint in there, but like I just brewed an Irish red ale. It's a similar type of style a few weeks ago. And I mean, I'll see what it looks like poured, but it's still fermenting right now, but from the samples I've taken, certainly the color is a lot redder than this. This seems more like a dark amber, but that's not a big deal. Good aroma in there. Smell, definitely a little bit of hops, but more of a malty flavor. I'm not expecting this to be an overly hoppy beer, so we'll see what this is like. But you got a nice, about an inch head on there, which again could be my pouring style a little bit. But good aroma. Yeah, I do think it's a little bit dark, and the clarity isn't great. So a couple critiques there. A little too dark for a red ale. Color's a little off for a red ale. And yeah, just a little clarity leaves a little bit to be desired. But of course we all know that the real test is in the taste. So here we go. Okay, that's a very interesting beer. That's a complex taste there. That's not super smooth, which I think is okay. I think especially if we think about, you know, you're trying to have a beer named after dragons. You know, maybe something that's a bit more of a sipper. The ABV feels, you can feel it in there. I mean, that's very noticeable, especially at only 7%. And I say only 7%, because, you know, you get some bigger beers or whatever. I have a beer on tap right behind the camera here. That's an IPA I made that's about a little over 8%. Oh, shoot, my dog is just messing up my camera. Sam, get off of there. See, here's the thing with my dog. He has his bed that he enjoys mating with. It's really weird. Right now I have my camera plugged in, but the cord, the outlet is far enough away so that it's kind of stretched out a little bit. And so he's grabbing his bed and like doing his little mating ritual with it right on the cord for the camera. So that's why it was tilting and everything there. Anyway, back to the beer. So yeah, not a very smooth drink. Let me take another sip here. Yeah, the hops are very subtle. This is more of a strong malty beer, but not in the overpowering stout way. I think the maltiness comes through well. It seems like there's probably a few other additives in there with spices or whatever, which Ommegang does a lot of in their beers, so that wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, this is a good complex taste. I definitely prefer this over Take the Black Stout, which again, part of that's just my natural inclination to not be a huge fan of stouts or whatever. But yeah, this is a complex beer that I think I'm really going to enjoy. So hopefully when those other bottles come in, I'll have a few more of it. You can kind of see there's definitely some particles floating around in there, whether that's hops or just leftover yeast sediment or whatever, which certainly isn't a big deal to me. But don't freak out, you know, if you're not familiar with more complex beers like that, or, you know, home brewing or whatever, certainly any sediment floating around in your beer isn't going to hurt you. So, all that said, Fire and Blood Red Ale. I think this is going to live up to Ommegang's other beers in the Game of Thrones series. I think they've done good work so far. After just a couple sips, I got to say I think they've done some pretty good work here. So 3 cheers for them. Hopefully the next time around, assuming that they do a 4th release, we can get this stupid distribution stuff sorted out a little bit so that we're not dealing with this situation that I described at the beginning. So that would be my major mark against them in terms of how the company is doing with this. So just to kind of sum up then, for the beer itself, I got to look at it, you know, aesthetically in terms of the look and everything. I would take some points off for that. I don't think, yeah, it is not, it doesn't have the appearance of a red ale very much. I think it's too dark. It's too amber-ish, if you will. And I noticed that even, you probably couldn't see it very well in the video, but when I was pouring it, you know, even when you, because sometimes what happens with a beer is that it gets so concentrated in a mug like this that it loses a little bit of its color. But even when it's just pouring in a smaller stream out of the can, really did not appear red. So doesn't quite line up in the style. I think it's going to be more of a sipper. So if you're going to be drinking the entire bottle yourself, as I will be tonight, you know, just give yourself some time to do so. I don't think this is going to be a fast drink or whatever, which is great. You know, if you're paying money for more money for a beer like this, you hopefully want it to last a little bit longer. But taste, aroma, all very good. So another good entry for Ommegang Brewery into their Game of Thrones line. If you are seeing this video as it just comes out and you want this, I would track it down soon. If it's anything like the other two, it's going to sell out very quickly, and based on what I've already described to you with the distribution issues, it may be even a faster sellout than the previous 2 beers. But definitely worth getting your hands on if you are a beer fan or a Game of Thrones fan. And hopefully this upcoming Sunday will kick off a great first season. I should mention that the reviews this year will come out on Mondays instead of Sundays. So look for those Monday, day after the show airs. Be here with our usual analysis, smokes, beer, all the good stuff from last year. And I'm looking forward to it. Here's to another great season and another great beer. And that's all for now. I'm Ben DiBono, and this is the Sci-Fi Christian. Goodbye.